I talked about this in my book too, like my ego feeling a sense of, in my 20s when I was friends, like for example, with Selena Gomez, and she would get mobbed, if we went out, and I would fall to the back and not even want to be around, even near, so people could or could not recognize me. Like I just didn't, it made me feel so uncomfortable and less than. And I had to, and I talked about that with my therapist, and like, that's not how I want to live my life. That just doesn't feel, I don't want to be in that spirit of competition or more than or less than, or just this sliding scale of you only feel okay, or I only feel okay if I'm charting or if I'm trending or whatever, or if a song goes viral. If that was the case, I would not survive.
Yeah. One's worth isn't determined by those factors.
But it's so easy to derive our self-worth from that.
Totally.
And my nervous system was, because my first single went #1 when I was 13, I've really had to take myself off that hamster wheel of like trying to get to that, because I might never. And I have to accept that, I am not who I was in my teens, and thank God. Because I think I'm pretty cool, and like I'm into this. I needed to derive a sense of self-worth that wasn't attached to fame. Because fame is fleeting.
That. And by the way, like fame and art are not the same thing, right? And art should mean something different to you than fame, but that's hard because they're one and the same. And to your point, you've been conditioned to this since you were, the most vulnerable of ages. Like that's like, think about 13 for a second.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I think about that in like, your sense of self is so being developed at that time. Your brain is squishy.
Yeah.
Everything that you're exposed to is influencing you. That's why I titled my book Over the Influence. Because it's not from a sense of like, I'm over it now, I'm the wise sage, but it's like, I'm over it. In the sense, like, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to be a slave to people's opinions or the fickle, just the fickle public, whatever. Like, life is too short to live it for any one particular person or system or industry or group mind.
So how's your relationship with music changed? Today compared to where it's been?
Well, this is my first fully independent release. So my thank you. My relationship to it is that I have a trusted team of people that it's not just like me just being like, I'm just jacking myself off with just doing whatever it is that I want. Like, yeah, like I do really like what I'm doing. But I ask for the opinions of people I respect, and I don't listen to the opinions of people who I don't respect. And that's cool because
that's power.
It's not all. It does feel powerful. My relationship with music has changed in the sense that right now I'm exploring what I'm curious about, and I feel less like I need to try and write a hit for fear of getting dropped, because I can't get dropped now.
You ain't gonna drop you.
I ain't gonna drop me, and that's nice. But you know what I'm saying? And that's even like self-love. Like, don't drop yourself. So that's kind of...
What do you want to do as a label boss that maybe you didn't get in the past from other people?
First of all, how budgets work or don't work. I'm self-funding everything. And so there's more transparency. There's a lot of, obviously... There's so much confusion between like the digital streaming platforms and the major label systems. You don't know how much they're making and how much is trickling down to songwriters and artists and all that stuff. It feels really kind of strange. And also now there's no departments of a label. I do have a distributed through BMG, but it's not like I'm like, oh, I'm waiting for the A&R department to approve this. I'm waiting for the publicity department to do this. I'm waiting for marketing or digital. I hire all those independent people to do things that they're great at. And it's coming from me. The vision has to come from me. Whereas I have been told in the past through different people that I was working with or whatever, that I should defer to people who know better than me. And at a certain point, that was just false. It was just not appropriate. I'm a grown-up, and I've been doing this a long time. But I listened for a very long time, and that was very confusing.
I mean, dude, you run a business.
Yeah. I think we all do. It's like we all have the business of ourselves.
Yeah.
Whether it's, the idea of a personal brand, like in 2025, everyone has a personal brand. Truly, just like walking around in the world. And it's the decisions we make and the people that we have near us that help bring that to life more. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm still just really learning on the job. Even though I've been doing this a long time, I feel like I'm just figuring it out and just trying to make the right choice for today as much as I can.
Part of the fun.
Yeah.
Keeps it fresh.
Keeps it fresh.
But I totally get that. Like I very much relate deeply. I understand that. And
I can't believe you've been having this show for 18 years.
yeah, he's been around for like 11 or 12.
Really?
I think it's been.
So you're the
almost
newbie.
13.
That's such a long time as
I
well.
know.
Wow.
Yeah, it's scary. I started when I was 14.
What?
Yeah, from my bedroom. I just made a radio show. Started doing it a few days a week, and then I got hired like a year and a half in at like a actual
That makes me
radio
want to like
startup.
cradle you. Like I'm feeling very hormonal right now. I'm on my period. So I think that is just that's so amazing.
Oh,
I'm
thanks.
so happy for you. That type of longevity is really like, we should celebrate that. Do you know what I mean?
I really appreciate
It's
that.
really not normal.
No, it isn't normal at all. I think about the first time we were like starting to film conversation, right? Like this and putting it on YouTube. Now it's the norm, you know? Conversations like this will determine
You
a
set it off,
presidential election. Yeah, we started doing this kind of conversation and putting it on the internet in 2009, 2008. Wow. 2009, yeah. And YouTube had been around, when, like 2005? Something like
Yeah.
that.
Wow.
So yeah, it was cool.
So special.
Thanks. By the way, can we talk about love? Ready to Love in specific?
Yeah.
I very much relate to this. It is about, from my understanding of the record,
Yeah, tell
it
me.
is about, your partner not being ready to grow up and not being able to essentially grow as you go.
Woo! Grow as you go.
Which is, I push that in relationships and I do believe in it, but there's a moment where that turns into delusion.
Ooh.
But I don't know.
What do you mean?
Meaning like you can only, I don't know, like you can use that as like a,
Like a toxic
yeah,
thing?
like it's a scapegoat. Yeah, like we'll grow through this. Like we'll grow as we go. Which but I don't know. Eventually,
Eventually what?
you grow in the wrong directions, I guess.
No, that's real.